Welcome back, everybody, to another very special and very spooky episode, our Halloween edition. And instead of course, talking to X and Ish, you're now talking to the VIP from Squid Game and my co host,
The touchdown fairy.
the Touchdown Fairy. Thank you for joining me today. Of course, if you tune in next week, you will get X and of course Ish back once again. But for today's episode, you will have a VIP and a fairy that does nothing but score touchdowns. I mean, who can be mad at that? With that being said, you know what to do. If you are on Facebook, please make sure you go ahead and like and share. And of course, if you are on the Facebook page, please go ahead and hit the like on the Facebook page. If you are on YouTube, go ahead and hit the subscribe button on YouTube and go ahead and hit that notification bell for shows in the future.
Ding!
Thank you for that, Ish. And if you are on Twitter, go ahead and
Touchdown fairy.
thank you, Ish. Thank you. And if you are on Twitter, go ahead and please hit us up on Twitter. We are on Periscope at X Talking Ish. And I'm going to go ahead and, of course, put us on my main page as well, X underscore 81. I'm sorry, X Williams. X underscore Williams 81. My apologies. All right, let's go ahead and move on. We appreciate everyone for joining us today on the Halloween recap. Of course, next week will be week 8 in the NFL season. And of course, there will be Halloween on Sunday when we'll do our pre-show, not our recap show. So that's why we're doing our Halloween episode a little sooner than later. So we just want to make sure we give you guys a quick smile out there. And we want to talk about some football out here with some VIPs, not just myself, but I know with the people that's watching out there. So Touchdown Fairy, let's go ahead and get right into what we left off at yesterday if you tuned in and watched Monday Night Football. But that's, of course, the Saints and the Seahawks. And, of course, with that of a slugfest type of game, as we saw yesterday, it was just a great game to watch with all of the sarcasm put in there. Ish, what do you make of the Saints being able to go into Seattle and get a win on the road like that?
I mean, this is not the Seattle team of old, right? So it's not as impressive as it may have been in the past. Also, without Russell Wilson, it definitely takes a little bit more off of that win. But you gotta take your hats off to the Saints. They went in and they won a game that they were supposed to win, a game that they needed to win in order to stay in the hunt for those wild card spots. Right now, they definitely would be in the playoffs if the playoffs started today. So you got to take your hats off to them. We always say on this show, you got to win the games you're supposed to win in order to give yourself a shot at the end of the year, right? And this was definitely one of those situations where the Saints were the favored team. I think a lot of people expect them to win this game, and they went out and they found a way to win. It wasn't the prettiest win. It wasn't, a very convincing win, but it was a win nonetheless. So you got to take your hats off to them. They went in, they did their business in a difficult place to win in Seattle. While the team isn't, at its best, Seattle and the fans there are always going to be at their best, right? So it was difficult from that standpoint. The weather also didn't, make it easy on them. But when you got a guy like Alvin Kamara in that backfield who can make plays in the air, can also make plays on the ground. He didn't do too much on the ground, but he did a lot in the air, and he was able to help them get that win. So at the end of the day, they did what they were supposed to do. I'm not too thrilled about it, to be honest. If you watch the halftime show, that I was giving Jameis a hard time going into the second half, and he really didn't do anything to raise my confidence in the second half. So
I have a question for you, Touchdown Fairy.
Mm-hmm.
Did he turn the ball over?
Oh my gosh, here we go with that.
I'm just asking, did he turn the ball over?
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It does matter.
Did he score in the red zone?
He did. Scored a touchdown.
Anyway,
I'm just letting you know.
Let's be.
How you doing, Napoleon? Thanks for tuning in.
Let's be honest here. it wasn't convincing from Jameis. Jameis doesn't look that great. He doesn't instill a lot of confidence in you about this offense moving forward, and them putting points up. So we'll have to wait and see as they move forward. But hey, a W is a W. So great job to the Saints. Let's just keep it. Let's hope they keep it going moving forward. Who knows? They might be able to shock Tampa Bay in the NFC South.
And of course, later on in the show, we'll actually talk a little bit more about the New Orleans Saints. My thing I was going to ask you though is with the Seattle Seahawks, with Russ being out this long, do you think they still have a chance to make a second half run to maybe win one of those wild card spots in the back half of the NFL season?
I mean, so if I'm looking at the schedule here, after their bye week in week 9, they got the Packers, Cardinals, Washington football team, the 49ers, the Texans, the Rams, the Bears, the Lions, and the Cardinals again. He played the Cardinals twice. He played the Packers. Those 3 games alone are kind of hit or miss. A lot of people would say that they're not the favorites in those games. The Washington football team, you would expect that to be a win. 49ers, it depends on what 49ers team shows up, so who knows. The Texans, you expect that to be a win. The Rams, you're probably expecting them to lose that game. The Bears, you would expect that to be the win. And the Lions, you expect that to be a win. So if they win the 4 games that they're supposed to win and they come up on maybe a couple other, wins, maybe Arizona at home, that puts you at 5 wins on the back half. And maybe you're able to beat San Francisco. Let's give them the San Francisco win as well. So that put them at 6. So, I mean, at this point, you win 6 more games. You're sitting at 8 games. You're in the hunt for the wild card. They could potentially still be in the hunt for the wild card on the back half if they do what they're supposed to do and come up with a couple of wins. So you can't really count them out. The question is, how far behind are they going to be? Well, really, the big question is, are they going to get this win on Sunday against the Jacksonville Jaguars? If they get the win against the Jacksonville Jaguars, it definitely keeps them in a decent spot to say, hey, we still got a shot in the second half. If they lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars, I don't know. It's not looking too great.
Well, they're at home against Jacksonville, so let's be real. We expect them to have a bounce back game, most likely against Jacksonville. Jacksonville has to go from Jacksonville, travel all the way up north to Seattle. That's a daunting task with a rookie quarterback, rookie head coach. I don't think it's going to happen for Jacksonville, but hey, we've seen some crazy things in the NFL season so far. So, all right, let's go ahead and move on from this game because let's be real. It's not that fun or entertaining of a game. But I will tell everybody a game that was very fun and entertaining for me to watch. I don't know about everybody else, especially if you're a Chiefs fan. But Chiefs and Titans, we got to address something in the room right now. This is the elephant in the room. And I'm not talking about me with my mask. I'm talking about the point that Ishmael, apparently my friend, my touchdown fairy friend of mine, he felt like the Kansas City Chiefs would be able to erase the mistakes that they've always had in this game. And because of the greatness of Patty Mahomes, they would overcome all of the mistakes that they've had. And I respect it. I respect the moxie. I understand where they come from. They're Super Bowl champs, right? You got to respect the champs. I got that. But I will say this. Besides the butt whooping the Titans put on them, on the Kansas City Chiefs, Ish, I do have a question for you. Because you watched the game, correct?
Yeah.
Off and on?
I watched.
Kind of walked away from it a little bit, I'm assuming?
I watched the first half. I watched a little bit of the third quarter, and then I pretty much.
That's what I was going to ask about. The third quarter. Do you remember a play where Mr. Travis Kelce catches the ball, and this man, down 24-0, throws a lateral, a full-blown lateral thrown pass?
It looked more like a speed option pitch.
Bruh, I've never seen anything like that before in my life. And to have the nuts to do that down 24 points on your side of the 50, what that looked like to me, honestly, is that the Kansas City Chiefs, plain and simple, they don't respect the Tennessee Titans. That's why they felt like that they could just do what they wanted to do and still get away with being able to do what they are been able to do, especially against teams like the Washington football team. But Tennessee Titans are not that. And the Kansas City Chiefs, and Ish maybe can agree with, or sorry, Touchdown Fairy can maybe agree with me on this one, is that maybe this is the wake-up call that they needed. Because Touchdown Fairy's been saying this episode after episode that the defense needs to get better. And now the offense is kind of suffering at the moment. Will they bounce back next week? Most likely, yes. They have a Monday Night Football game, and I expect them to bounce back. But in reality, for the Kansas City Chiefs, this is not 2019. So, Touchdown Fairy, how do you feel about these Kansas City Chiefs right now after the beatdown that they took in Tennessee?
Plain and simple, they're an average to below average team. That they're not a playoff team. In their current state, they are not a playoff team. Anybody who wants to argue or disagree, let me just say, one, you can't go off of potential and say because of the potential they have, oh, they're a playoff team. Two, stop living in the past because they've done it before. But I think, to be honest, they've been found out. They've been found out. They've been found out from a standpoint of teams have realized all this talk that Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, and some of these other players have come out and said about, we just got to take what they give us. We just got to, I know that people think it's boring, but we just got to take what they give us. That's all talk. Patrick Mahomes he's saying what you want, what he knows people want him to say. He's saying what you want to hear from him. He's saying like, oh yeah, we're going to dink and dunk down the field. Can I just say to you, the interception that he threw, where he tried to force the ball to Josh Gordon, did that look like somebody that was taking what the defense was giving him?
Well, I'm assuming that you're talking about that at the end of the second quarter, and he rolls out his first down. He rolls out to his left, and he throws it to tip ball, and the linebacker from Tennessee Titans intercepts the football. Mm-hmm. Yes, with that play right there, like you just said, it's first down. It's 2 minutes plus left to go in the quarter. You have an opportunity to still score, put some points on the board before you go in the half. Like you said, just take what they give you. Don't force that. If anything, just run. You had 5 yards. You could have got. You could have got 5 yards, or you could have dumped it down to your running back. But that's the thing. It's not sexy for the checkdowns. Nobody wants to be check down Charlie, right? Mm-hmm. It's not sexy to be check down Charlie, but check down Charlie sometimes win you the game.
So, to me, when you're asking about it, they've been found out because this offense has been found out from the standpoint of, dude, y'all saying y'all willing to check down and take what they give you and everything, but y'all really aren't. Like, y'all really are not about that life. Y'all are about trying to be the flashy, oh, we're going to throw the bomb on you. We're going to do the no-look passes and all this and so on and so forth. When in reality, dude, all you need to do is take what the defense gave you. Like, there were plenty of opportunities if you watch that game where Tennessee was giving them specific little things underneath that they weren't willing to throw or take. To me, I'm done with the talk. I even said it in the pregame. I'm done with the talk. Stop talking about it and just be about it, okay? Is this the wake-up call that they needed? If they weren't awake before, if they weren't awake after the first half of that Washington game, then honestly, everybody there needs to re-examine themselves. And I'm going to say it. They will not make the playoffs. They're not a playoff team. They are barely even in the wild card conversation, if I'm just being honest.
Now, I will say this. Can we also maybe look at, because of Mahomes' career so far, we're spoiled at what we're looking at because he only has 9 interceptions. We've had Hall of Fame quarterbacks that have thrown for 20 plus interceptions in a season, right? Mm-hmm. And with the expectations that quote unquote the kid has put on himself, I think unfortunately with the media and everybody else, it's quick to thrust them in the Mannings and the Brady and everybody else in that quarterback conversation when we talk about this all the time, Ish. And no disrespect to everybody that's won one, but you can win one, but can you win two? Can you win three? Can you win four? Can you win five? That's what separates yourself. And my better cut you off it.
No, go ahead.
Fair. Oh, I was just saying when it comes to the NFL, we especially over the last 20 years with the Patriots and Tom Brady and what they've been doing with their reign, we got spoiled into thinking that that's normal. Like that's anybody can do that, and no, that's not normal. That takes work every day, in and out every year, and even during the Brady years, they missed the playoff 1 year out of those 20, but Brady's numbers weren't always excellent. So for Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, what I would like to ask you is this is an all around problem? Is this a Patrick Mahomes problem? Is this a coaching staff problem? What is the problem? Because if Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy is telling Patrick, hey, dump it down. Look, we're watching on film. Look, you check the check down right here, and you're still not doing it, then it's Patrick, of course, right? But if the coaches are allowing you to be Patrick Mahomes because that's what's won us a Super Bowl, is it kind of hard to break those habits, Ish? Like that's I think that's the unfortunate rock and a hard place that the Kansas City Chiefs are in. It's like if we stop who he is now, will we not get the most out of him?
Yeah, I think it's a culture problem, man. I think it's a culture. I think it's the culture that has been built on this team, where they like the big play, they like the flash, they like the shine. I think the defense has always been kind of like the stepchild on the team. Really, if we're being honest, the defense has never been amazing, but they've always been good enough, and the offense has always been amazing enough that it doesn't matter what you're down by. It doesn't matter. What the situation looks like. The offense is going to find a way, right? Patrick Mahomes is going to find a way. You trust in him. You trust Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce. These guys are going to find a way to make it happen. They're going to find that big play. The problem that you have is it's created a culture in which I don't know if they are expecting the big play. They've bought into the hype or what it is. But to me, Patrick Mahomes takes some of the blame. And I think it's not an overreaction to say that he's regressed in the sense of the interceptions that he's thrown this year. That's it's the type of interception that he's thrown and the situations he's thrown the interceptions in that are the problem. Some of them definitely were just like crazy interceptions, like the Chargers interception, where I believe it was Asante Samuel Jr. dove, in the middle field, makes an amazing play, right? Okay, that's a fair one. Great play by the defender. But then you got the one like I was talking about earlier,
where he gets watching a football team where he just rolls out and just throws it up in the air.
That is that's what you come to expect from an overwhelmed rookie quarterback, right? Like kind of throw. The interception against
Zach Wilson's throws.
Yeah, against Tennessee this past weekend, when he was trying to fit that one into Josh Gordon. That's the kind of throw you expect from an inexperienced, overwhelmed quarterback. Like, that's the problem with the interceptions that I have. Is like, it's not like you're making – it's not like it's great. You're allowing the defense to make a great play. You're gifting them these interceptions because you're trying to throw it in double coverage. You're trying to throw to a guy that clearly isn't open, has no way to come back and make this play, and yet you still try to gun the ball in there. Like, that's the problem. And that's where, for me, the Chiefs will not get better until they really actually commit to doing what they're saying about just take what is there. Play the simple game. Play the easy game. You have the talent. You have the makeup on the offensive side, at least, to be a playoff team if you take what is there and you play within the limits of what the defense is giving you, right? Now on the defense side, they need to burn it all to the ground. It appears because it just doesn't look like they have anything there. They don't. It doesn't appear like they've got. I mean, they were able to get to Tannehill a couple of times, but shoot, the first couple of drives, they never even were able to get a breath on him. I mean, I don't think
The first couple of
anybody.
drives, I've never seen ball movement from the Titans like that since the
My
McNair
good. I
days.
mean, the man was perfect. I think the first two or three drives,
Oh
he
yeah,
didn't miss on a single throw. So you really got to look at your defense and say, what do we need to do in order to, I mean, have some sort of pride or something? I don't know, but it was ugly. Like I said, I watched maybe halfway through the third quarter and I was done. I didn't see I could tell you from the first half there was no way they were coming back. It didn't. There was no fight from them. It just looked horrible.
all right, well, let's stop beating a dead horse
Yeah,
or a
let's
dead
stop beating on
or a
on.
dead chief, I should say,
Uh,
and let's go ahead and move on because hey, these Chiefs fans, they're not they're just been so used to living on this cloud nine over the last couple of
yeah,
years. They
it's
ain't
rough
used to
times.
getting their butt whooped like they've been
Uh,
usually getting their butt whooped in the
I
'90s and
mean,
2000s.
they'll be
But
back. It's not. First
yeah,
off,
I
there's
know.
still time in this season for them to turn it around.
Of
Not a lot
course,
of time,
of
but
course.
there's time.
There's time. 11 more. Well, sorry, 12 more weeks left. 12 more weeks.
Yeah.
Technically, yeah. 11 and 12, whatever we want to go. But anyways, there's plenty of time in football left for everybody. But a team that did run out of time, thank God they did, the Cincinnati Bengals, because they would have scored another touchdown against the Baltimore Ravens. We got to talk about this game because we selected the Baltimore Ravens to win this game, touchdown fairy. But one thing I did say in the pregame show before this game started, I said the Bengals, I feel like they have an opportunity to win this game, which of course, besides them doing, they slaughtered the Baltimore Ravens, and besides slaughtering them, they definitely made a statement to the rest of the AFC because at the moment the Cincinnati Bengals are the number one seed in the AFC if the playoffs were to start today.
Yes, sir.
Touchdown fairy. The way that the Bengals took care of the Baltimore Ravens, is it time to start taking the Cincinnati Bengals seriously?
Yeah, I mean, I think we should be taking the Cincinnati Bengals seriously. I think we both said in the pregame show that this team has been performing a lot better than a lot of people expected. That there is a lot of excitement surrounding them. I think that what you saw on Sunday just proved that they don't need that time, right? They don't need that time as far as being in contention. Now, whether or not they're able to finish some of these games when it comes playoff time and crunch time or later in the season, that's something to be seen because that's when it's not as easy, right? Like it's easy to win a game in week 6 against Baltimore in Baltimore. But when you get down and come playoff time, are you able to do it if it's a close game? And it's also another thing to say, it's easy when you jump on a team early and you got the momentum flowing to kind of keep that momentum going and to just beat up on them, right? To make it look bad. But when it's not going so well and you're in a real test, right? You're in one of those where it's a grind. You have to
You got to
put in
earn
a
every
lot of
point.
energy and
Yeah,
effort the entire game.
just to get a field goal.
That is when some of these teams that are a little bit younger that haven't been there before, that's when we see them struggle, right? So should we take them seriously? Yes, we should take them seriously because they are where they are not because of a fluke, but because they have beaten really good teams, right? They have beaten some really good teams along the way. um, the only question that we have is, are they able to sustain this? Because that's where a young team, you don't quite know if a young team is going to be able to sustain, and that's what I want to see from them. But I'm excited for them. I'm excited about the team. Like I said in the pregame show, this is the most excitement I've had about the Cincinnati Bengals since when Chad was there. So yeah, man, it's looking good. The receiving core, wow, it's a sight to behold. Also, man, I gotta give a shout out to my boy Eli Apple. Eli Apple, He's been making some plays over on the defensive side. That defense, man, I don't feel like they get a lot of love. I think because Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, T.
Mm-hmm.
Higgins, they've all been showing out. Joe Mixon. I just don't feel like their defense gets a lot of love, but the defense has been doing a lot of great things and making a lot of plays. So definitely hats out to that defense in Cincinnati. And if they can keep it up, yeah, they're going to be in contention when it comes down to it.
And like you said, shout out to Eli Apple being able to make a new home in Cincinnati with the troubles he's had around the
Oh,
NFL,
yeah.
just due to either on the field or off the field issues with Eli Apple. But shout out to Eli Apple out there, making a new name, a new home for himself. For me, this game, honestly, I have to look at the Ravens on this one because again, I would people will call me crazy picking the Bengals to win this game last week, which I should have did, but I let my emotions get into the way. It is what it is, but it's all good. But I will say with the Ravens, are the injuries going to start catching up? That's what I'm trying to see with this team moving forward. Because again, the Bengals are not a team that's supposed to be here right now. They're supposed to be trending this way next season, not right now. They're a year, maybe 2 years ahead of schedule right now. And if the Bengals are able to maybe steal the division from the Browns, the Ravens, or even the Steelers, who in the hell? If you made a nice little bet in Vegas before the season started, you're gonna get a nice, return. But who seriously thought the Cincinnati Bengals would win the AFC North coming into the season? Not too many. And if the Cincinnati Bengals are able to continue to keep doing what they're doing, because they got this one in Baltimore, the Ravens have to come to Cincinnati now and play them still for the second game of this matchup. And the Bengals take care of them. They swept the Ravens. That's something very remarkable to think about. And again, we have to see what happens with the Ravens moving forward if the injuries are something that's going to show itself in the wrong times, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, I agree with you. The injuries, at some point, it starts to take a toll on the team, right?
Exactly.
But the good thing for them is they got the bye week this week. Then they come out and they got a pretty tough matchup against Minnesota. But then they got a couple of weeks that I think kind of helps them with the injury problem, right? Like they got Miami in week 10, the Bears in week 11. Now, both of those games are on the road, so it's not as easy as you would expect. But still, those are two teams that you expect the Ravens to beat. The Browns, who have been hobbled by injuries as well. So, you may be able to, depending on what their situation is, it may be whoever's the healthiest of the two teams when they meet each other in week 12. And then you got the Steelers on the road. Then you go back against the Browns the following week. The Packers on the road to the Bengals, and then the Rams and the Steelers to close it out. Like, honestly, I could see them, getting some time. I think the back half of the season, towards the last couple of weeks, is when it really gets tough for them, right? But this middle portion right here, there's some leeway there to kind of work through some of these injuries, get some people healthy, and maybe find a way to still be in a really good spot to win the AFC North as you get into week 16, 17, and 18. So the injuries could end up biting them in the butt, but I think that they're gonna find a way to get some people back healthy, get some rest. This week, the bye week came at a perfect time because you can get some rest, lick your wounds, and then come out ready to fight against this Minnesota team at home.
No, I definitely agree with you on that one. You know how the bye week is when it comes to the home cooking. Sometimes you need that home cooking to be able to finish out that back half for the rest of the NFL season. And no matter if it's the NFL, college, or high school, everybody deserves a bye week. I agree with you on that one. Touchdown fairy, I should say. All right, let's go ahead and move on from that game, and let's go ahead and talk about very quickly our Mr. Slang for this weekend. And I'll let you start off Mr. Touchdown Fairy. You don't have to, of course, have it right now, but I'll give you a couple of seconds to think about your Mr. Slang That Thing. And
Oh no! I already got my Mr. Slang That Thing.
Hey, do your thing, man. Do your
I
thing.
have my Mr. Slang That Thing early in the week, and that right there should tell you it all because my Mr. Slang That Thing is going to be a tandem award. My Mr. Slang That Thing for this
Slang
week.
That Things.
Slang That Things for this week is none other than Case Keenum and Kevin Stefanski.
Oh.
They're gonna share the award this week because you came into the week, you knew Baker was hurt, but Baker was talking about still possibly playing, and then you get into like Tuesday, Wednesday, Baker decides, oh, I can't go. So you have Case Keenum, and I think we chose against the Browns, partially because of Case Keenum. Partially
because of Case Keenum.
Well, yeah. Partially because that Denver defense. I mean, they're a good defense. Patrick Surtain has been doing wonderful things for them. So, you were thinking, maybe the Browns not gonna be able to do anything. And Case Keenum just came out. He had a nice little light day, nothing too serious, but still he was able to put up 199 yards. I mean. And the thing about it is the numbers don't look amazing. 199 and a touchdown, right? But if you watch the game, it's the way that they played the game, the way that Kevin Stefanski called the game for Case Keenum, and they just were able to make play after play after play. And at one point, I started thinking to myself, like, is Case Keenum this good?
Yeah.
I was like, man, this man Case Keenum is actually really good. But I mean,
you're a hater.
Why am I a hater?
He holds the NCAA passing record here at U of H. In the nation for the nation, son. Best in the nation.
That's an air raid offense.
Who cares? He still had the record.
Times in a game, got the record. I expect you to have the passing record.
Hey, Colt Brenham had it at one point in time. Case Keenum broke it.
Okay. Anyway.
Just saying.
Case Keenum just looked really good. And unfortunately for Theodore, he looked meh.
All right, I'm going to need you to leave
once again. Leave Theodore once again. Travis, what's up, man?
Travis says,
appreciate
what's
you
good,
for tuning
fellas?
in. Yeah, the Astros over there looking not so magnificent.
So if you don't want to watch the Astros, you're more than welcome to come and check out X Talking Ish.
Yeah, you can watch this instead. The Astros over there performing like Theodore did in this game.
I was going to say they're performing like the Houston Texans against the Arizona Cardinals. But hey,
that's rude. But anyway, that's my Mr. Slang That Thing, Kevin Stefanski, Case Keenum. Hats off to y'all. Wonderfully done. I'm excited about it. It actually makes me rethink what I think about the Cleveland Browns moving forward if Baker Mayfield has to sit for some time.
I do respect it. I respect the tandem that you was able to bring today for Mr. Slang That Things. I'm going to surprise everyone. Since I am a VIP, I'm not who I normally am. And today, I'm going to give much credit to Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz.
No.
Yep. Carson Wentz is Mr. Slang That Thing for me because, let me explain. You can make the face all you want to. To go out and play in San Francisco in that torrential downpouring of rain, that was a crazy game to play in rain-wise because everyone was soaked. You know that. If you watch the game, you should know that. With that being said, even though it wasn't only 150 yards of total yards passing, you threw for 2 touchdowns, which also means that with 2 touchdowns in the last 4 games, he becomes the only Colts quarterback to do that since, of course, Peyton Manning. Not Andrew Luck or even
the dang Peyton Manning.
Let me explain. Not even Andrew Luck or Phillip Rivers last year were able to do that, which is very surprising to me. You would think Phillip Rivers, majority of times have at least 2 touchdowns a game. For Carson Wentz to do this against a pretty good defense, San Francisco, even though they lost a lot of pieces so far, They go into they go back home and play against the Tennessee Titans, and it's going to be very interesting to see if the Tennessee Titans have a letdown type of game against one of their division rivals who they struggle with, and will Carson Wentz continue to keep up this hot streak? It's very interesting to see Carson Wentz kind of bring this all together because, again, he threw for 2 touchdowns and have no interceptions. Right now, his interception to touchdown ratio is 11-1. I know it doesn't look sexy. I'm not the biggest Carson Wentz fan. But when you're looking to see what he's doing at the moment, the Indianapolis Colts are 3-4. They still have an opportunity to fight for a wild card spot. And Carson Wentz, it seems like you just needed a new change of scenery and get out of Philadelphia.
Yeah, he just needed to go somewhere where they're going to allow him to be Trent Dilfer.
I mean, hey, and it's okay. Some franchises from time to time just need a game manager until you're able to get that franchise quarterback. But at the moment, if that's what
Carson Wentz is,
that's what he's going to be. I mean, he was supposed to be for the Philadelphia Eagles, but sometimes it doesn't happen. And sometimes you being a game manager, like Joe Flacco just got traded from, of course, the Philadelphia Eagles to the Jets. And at one point in time, he was a quarterback that maybe looked like he might have been the franchise quarterback for the Ravens.
Bro, don't disrespect Joe Flacco and compare him to Carson Wentz.
I'm not comparing. I'm talking about the journeys.
Nah, don't even put them in the same classification.
Anyways. All right, let's talk about the game of the week. We'll also talk about one more topic, and then we'll also, before we get out of here, we'll play a very fun game called Eliminated or Not. All right. My bad. Touchdown Fairy. This is going to happen all night, of course. But the game of the week for me, I'm going to start off. I'm going to go ahead and start off first. Has to be, and I know it sounds crazy, it's going to be random. Eagles Raiders.
Okay.
Eagles Raiders. Okay. Reason why I say this is because I'm looking at the Raiders and I'm expecting this drop off. I'm waiting for them to finally trip up. And it's not even about the John Gruden situation. It's not even the John Gruden stuff. It's just
the Raiders being the Raiders.
Exactly. That's what I'm waiting for them to fall off. And at the moment, they have the second best seed in the AFC. And for the Raiders to be 5-2 at this point, and to continue to play pretty good ball, and they won a game, of course, without Darren Waller on Sunday, I think that helps them gain a lot of confidence moving forward, because with the Raiders, they always feel like it's them against everybody, right? They've always had that mindset, and that's something that is great for them moving forward, going into the playoffs. The question is that can this young Raiders team, because they don't really have too much playoff experience, can they make a run this year, or is this a year for them to learn and grow, and we might see them again next season, and that's the year that we expect the Raiders to actually do something? Touchdown Fairy?
Well, I think that they definitely have a chance to do it this year. The way that Derek Carr has been playing, and we getting the ball to Darren Waller, the defense has been pretty solid. They have a chance, but I do feel like this is just a year for them to learn and grow, and then maybe come back next year and make a little bit more noise. I just think that some of the teams at the top of the AFC, they've got a little bit more going for them than the Raiders do at the moment. Although I will say that the Raiders are a very dangerous team right now, for the simple fact that it's them against the world, right? Their backs against the wall. Their coach got fired, or he resigned, or mutually agreed to go separate ways, whatever you want to call it. Some of the players in there, they feel a certain type of way about it. They feel like they got picked on a little bit. Like, why was this, why he had to be punished what's going on. Derek Carr has been very vocal about his support for him. There have been other players that come out and been very vocal about their support for him. So I think this is a very dangerous team from the standpoint of you've given them something to galvanize the entire team to feel like it's us against the world.
Mm-hmm.
We got nothing to lose. Let's just go out here and lay it all out on the line. And when you have a team like that, guys with that type of mentality, you never know what's going to happen. You never know what you're going to get. And I think that's exactly what we're seeing from the Raider team. They're coming out and they're just making plays and they're just letting it all hang out, with no care in the world. So, can they do it this year? Yeah, but I just still don't. I haven't seen enough to say that they can compete with some of the top teams.
And I will say this, though, to wrap up this game of the week, I easily could have given Mr. Slang that thing to Derek Carr for throwing 31 of 34, with 323 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick.
Nope.
Because I don't know if y'all really understand how hard it is to go 31 for 34, but yeah, it really is. And Derek Carr has been performing pretty well throughout the whole season. I don't think he's still in that MVP race at the moment, but
Oh no,
he's definitely showing that he is the guy as the quarterback, of course, moving forward for the Las Vegas Raiders. All right,
Yeah, I
Touchdown
see
Fairy,
that.
who you got for Game of the Week?
Game of the week for me, it had to be the beatdown that the Bengals gave to the Ravens. I mean, I think that was a statement game. That was a statement for the league. It was a statement for the Bengals. It was a statement in the AFC North. The torch just might have been passed this past Sunday
Ooh.
from the teams like the Steelers and the Ravens to the Bengals. And I would even say, Cleveland, they might have felt like going into the season that they were the ones that were the dark horses that potentially were going to upset the traditional powers in the AFC North. They probably felt like they had the best shot. Well, I'm here to tell you that Cleveland, no. Cincinnati is the team that is the next up. It looks like they are young, they're having fun, they're flying around. I mean, it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch. And anytime you get football that's fun to watch, I mean, how can you not be in favor of it? Yeah, game of the week for me had to be that Cleveland game, only because of the statement that it made to the league and to the rest of the teams in the AFC North, just to kind of say like, hey, we're here. All that mess y'all were talking about, young, we got to learn, so on and so forth. Like, nah, we want that right now. Um, and it looks like they want it by any means necessary. And if it means putting a beat down on somebody, apparently they're willing to do that.
So you saying these new young Bengals? They saying they bullies. They're coming in the league straight bullies.
I mean, it looked like that's what they. It looks like that's what they're trying to do. They said, "Yeah, we're really about this life, and we're gonna let you know."
I'm not mad at it. Hey, these young Bengals. I don't know if you saw Touchdown Fairy, but once they got done with the game, they ran to the locker room and they said these the new Bengals. These are the new young Bengals. So they have a lot of confidence in themselves. They do know and realize that they are a team to be reckoned with. And
Mm-hmm.
I think all that off season noise about Jamar Chase not being able to catch football, I think that is definitely
I think that's died
rest.
down for sure.
Laid to rest, and I think that's something that at the end of the day, that was a quote that got misconstrued. He actually never really said that he couldn't catch. He just said that he asked what was the difference. He told them what was the difference. They misconstrued his words. But anywho, we can talk about that another day. We're going to now talk about, because I need everybody that's tuning in, I need your opinion as well on this, because I've been asking everybody this all online throughout the last couple of days, because this has been driving me crazy when it comes to the 600 touchdown ball that Tom Brady threw. Mike Evans, the wide receiver from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, went into the stands and gave it to a random person into the stands. But at the time, Mike Evans did not know it was a 600 touchdown ball. Touchdown Fairy, people that are tuning in right now, if you had that ball, would you give it up or would you hold on to it more of a leverage? And before you answer, Tom Brady was on Eli and Peyton Manning's Monday Night Football special last night, and Tom Brady himself even said that he would have held on to the ball. With that being said, answer wisely. Let's go ahead and go to the comments right quick. Travis Crow says, would have kept it. Touchdown Fairy, what you got?
Yeah, I definitely would have kept it. I mean, the package that he got, he would have got so much more if he had kept it and negotiated outside of the stadium. They've got more of the leverage when you're still in the stadium and the ball's still there for them to obtain. But had you kept it, left with it, they would have found a way to get in touch with you. You could have negotiated from there. Shoot, as soon as Mike Evans gave me that ball, I might have just left the game. If I'm just being honest.
Hey, I'm about to backdoor with you on that one. Lee, first of all, Lee says I would have kept it and negotiate till I know the real price. He should have gained some leverage before giving it up so quick. And Ish, yes, just like you said, if it was me, because I've had people ask, well, how would anybody know if it's the real football? Look, the NFL gonna find you. Mm-hmm. You get up out that stadium, ain't nobody. Somebody said, what about security? Security gonna learn about a stiff arm today. You ain't stopping me. I'm telling you that right now. I would get that ball, run out of that stadium, and meet me in my vault, and we're going to talk about what we need to get, because from the prices that I saw, at minimum, the ball is worth at least $500,000. That's before negotiating, of course. But let's go ahead and read down what the gentleman named Byron Kennedy, what he was able to get for the 600 touchdown ball. He got 2 signed jerseys and a helmet from Tom Brady, a signed Mike Evans jersey in his game cleats, a $1,000 credit at the team store, and 2 season passes for the remainder of the season and, of course, next season. And, of course, Tom Brady also got him a Bitcoin. Touchdown Fairy. Is that enough?
Not enough. Plain and simple. Not enough. I mean, you should have got more.
Nah, I mean, I definitely agree. And here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. I love how the Bucks says, "Hey, we're gonna give you free money to come and spend back at our store." like, really, the Bucks, really? That's how you do the guy. Look, I understand
he was dumb enough to accept the deal.
You know what? I don't feel sorry for him. I might have to agree with you on that one, because I also saw people out here talking about, these people out here in this world, people are greedy. You should give the ball up. I say, you sound like a simp to me. You sound like some type of simp to me. Last time I checked, this is America. Last time I checked, we come up on insurance stuff and whatnot. This was an insurance claim from last time I checked. It's American way. You get your valuable item, you hold on to that mug, and you go ahead and cash out. That's what America's about. And that was his opportunity, and he let it go. And he gonna do his little media round tour, and he gonna be talked about, and he gonna be the good version of Steve Bartman for the Chicago Cubs, for Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But other than that, you ain't gonna never get what you should have got for that ball, playboy.
Plain and simple.
Plain and simple. All right, let's go ahead and finish it up tonight with, of course, a Halloween special edition of the episode, Eliminated or Not. And, of course, if you've seen Squid Game, you know that you're either alive or you're eliminated. And we are talking about teams that are still in the hunt to maybe make the playoffs later on due to the slow start they are having right now. So, of course, if you are tuning in, make sure you join us. Touchdown Fairy. Let's start off with the New England Patriots. Are they eliminated or not?
I don't think they're eliminated. I think they're right there on the fence. They're right there on the cusp of being eliminated, but they still got a shot. They play a lot of teams on the back half that are not that great. They also, they're healthy. They're healthier than you would expect. and they got a rookie quarterback that's learning, and the more time he gets in there, the more chances you give him opportunities, the better he gets. So yeah, they're still on the cusp of being eliminated, but not quite there yet.
I feel the opposite. I feel that way because even though New England Patriots slaughtered the New York Jets on Sunday, let's remember that is their third win of the season. And out of those 3 wins, let's remind everybody those 3 wins to Touchdown Ferry. 1 to the Houston Texans and 2 to the New York
New
Jets.
York Jets, that's correct.
With that being said, that will not get you to the playoffs. And at the moment, I will have to eliminate you, the New England Patriots, because
Fair
I don't
enough.
care how your back half schedule is right now. If your only wins are against the Jets and the Houston Texans, it's not a good look. Just saying. Just saying. All right. Let's go ahead and move on to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'll start this one off. They are not eliminated because Mr. Mike Tomlin, not just because he doesn't want a blank check thrown at him, doesn't matter how big it is, he's not going to USC. The point is that Mr. Mike Tomlin is a leader of men. He's a man of men, and he will, of course, do what he needs to do to get Mr. Sack of shit Ben Roethlisberger to the playoffs. And they'll lose in the first round, but they'll get to the playoffs. And then, of course, Big Ben will retire. Mike Tomlin will give him a new quarterback, and we'll see from there. But for me, the Pittsburgh Steelers, I can't rely on y'all right now to make the playoffs. So I will go with eliminated.
I agree, they're eliminated. The Steelers are eliminated. I think that they got a real tough back half. Too inconsistent. You haven't seen enough from Big Ben. Their rushing offense is still horrendous, just like it was last year. They're eliminated for me.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to the Cleveland Browns. Would you like to start our first Touchdown Fairy? Would you like to start our first Touchdown Fairy? Sleepyhead?
No. The Cleveland Browns are still the Cleveland Browns are still they're still in it. They're not eliminated. A lot of this is going to have to ride on Baker Mayfield and how long he may be out for. Although Case Keenum, like I said earlier, he did actually come in and he played really well. And I think if they can do that, he can do that for a couple of weeks. If he can possibly pull, what Teddy Bridgewater was able to do in New Orleans, then potentially they will be not only in the playoffs, but they will be in the running for the AFC North. So they still have a shot for sure.
I feel like they are not eliminated at the moment. Besides their quarterback their QB1 being hurt at the moment, their defense helps them out tremendously, being able to keep them into games. And if you saw on Thursday night, it looks like, of course, they have a proven veteran backup that will come in and win you a couple of games if necessary. And that's something that every team always needs, is a backup that can come in and win you a couple of games just in case. For the Cleveland Browns, I take them a little more seriously making the playoffs compared to the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right. The Denver Broncos. I'll start off first. Teddy Two Gloves. You're going down. I love you and all, Teddy, but the Denver Broncos are just not who the Denver Broncos thought who they would be. The defense is there. It's just not championship level, and the offense is just not there. It's pitiful. It's really bad, and of course for them to only score 14 points in that Thursday night football game, we both picked them because we assumed that maybe the Browns would, this is a game to slip up on, but they definitely did not do that. And moving forward with the Broncos, they play the Cowboys in Week 9. They play the Eagles in Week 10, which usually should be a winnable game, but knowing them, that can go either way. And also, who else? That Week 11 is their bye week, and Week 12, let's see,
Chargers.
the Chargers. So you're going to have a nice little stretch over these next 4 weeks to see Broncos if you're even going to have your head above water. Because right now you're below 500. And by Week 12, if you are 6-6, that would be great. But most likely you'll probably be 4 and 8 at that moment. Yeah, so Broncos, you are eliminated. Excuse us, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know why he's over here falling asleep. He's getting old on this.
You know why I'm falling asleep?
I don't understand why, but let us know.
I'm falling asleep because that's what Theodore does to me. Okay?
That
is what Theodore does to me. Theodore puts me to sleep. Theodore has been horrendous. That's why they're not in contention. That's why they're out. They're eliminated. They are eliminated. You know why? Because Theodore the quarterback. No, I mean, but all jokes aside, it's not just Theodore, okay? That offensive line has been poor. The defensive line has been hit or miss. They're not able to get enough pressure on the quarterback to help out an ailing secondary that has been struggling for a long time now. They won the first 3 games. Everybody thought, oh, yeah, it's good, it's great. And then they really dropped off. The last 4 games, they've lost 4 straight. It doesn't look like it's going to get any easier. The best chance they have right now is the Washington football team this week. They really got to step up and, do something here. If they do not do something against Washington football team, you say that the Eagles are a toss-up. I don't think so. I think that if they lose to Washington football team, they will go into their bye week losing the next 3 games. So they'll lose to the Washington football team, to the Dallas Cowboys, and to the Philadelphia Eagles. They need a win against Washington just for the moral portion of it, not even for anything else, because really they're eliminated already.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to the NFC side of things. The Chicago Bears started off.
The Chicago Bears are eliminated. They don't have an offense.
We'll make it quick. Eliminated. Carolina Panthers.
They're eliminated.
They are eliminated because the real Sam Darnold has come out. And unfortunately, I was wrong about Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold.
I thought he could repair himself in Carolina. Didn't happen at all. Atlanta Falcons.
Atlanta is still in it. I don't think they're eliminated. I think that they still have a shot. Now, that could change in a week or two. But it's crazy for me to say this because I did not expect them to be in this situation, to be at this point. Also, Kyle Pitts the past couple of weeks, my goodness,
He balling as I expected. I did say he would be Rookie of the Year, but I don't think he will be Rookie of the Year because he don't play the quarterback position.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's going to be a Rookie of the Year, but I mean, he's turning out to be everything that he was advertised to be, and making such a big enough impact that Atlanta has been able to pull some of these games out. So, yeah, they still got a shot for sure.
For me, I would say yes. But because of the division that they play in, yes, they can beat the Panthers. I don't know about the Saints, and you're not beating the Bucks. And the NFC is just very competitive right now, very top-heavy. I'm going to have to go with eliminated. I don't think that they would find a way to make the playoffs, especially with a second-year head coach, Arthur Smith. And I think there's something that they all learn from. I think Matt Ryan finally, maybe moves on after this season, and I think they rejuvenate things in Atlanta moving forward with some younger talent. At the moment, Atlanta, you're eliminated. Touchdown fairy. Last one for tonight. Minnesota Vikings.
The Vikings are not eliminated. Um, I think that the Minnesota Vikings, they just they have uh, as much as it pains me, Kirk Cousins has been playing so well this year.
Yeah, go ahead and say it.
Um,
You know you like to say it. Cousin Kurt. Mm-hmm.
he's been playing so well this year. I think that they still got a shot. That defense, I think they started out kind of slow. They picked it up. The offense has been going all season. They've got the weapons there to help Kirk Cousins out. And as long as he continues in the form that he's been in, then they will make the wild card, and they will be a tough first round matchup for whoever they play, because they are playing really well. Their record doesn't quite reflect just how well they've played. And I mean, when you look at their margin of loss, I mean, this season, it's they're losing really tight, close games. So when you think about that, you think about what the fact that they still have to play the Lions a second time. They got the Bears twice on the back half. I mean, I think for me,
Both of
they're
those could
definitely
be
still in.
wins. Oh yeah. No, I agree
Yeah.
with you. I'll keep it very short and sweet. I love what I'm seeing from the Vikings. I said this is what they do. They start off slow, they come back charging. But this is just the different type of Vikings team that I kind of see, especially with the way that Kirk Cousins is playing. I agree with you though. If they get into the wild card spot, they could maybe upset a 3 or a 4 seed if they play them. Depending on the matchup, be very interesting to see what happens with the Minnesota Vikings. But at the moment, you're not eliminated, and we expect to see y'all in the playoffs. Before we get up out of here, though, let me go ahead and read this comment from Lee, and I definitely understand where you're coming from, Lee. You are right. Lee said that I said that Pitts won't get Rookie of the Year because he isn't a QB. Chase seems like the easy front runner, doesn't he? Overall, the quarterback so far. Yes, Lee, I did say that. It was more of a tongue-in-cheek type of thing. It was just one of those things where, when it comes to Rookie of the Year, when it comes to when it comes to MVPs, anything like that, it's a quote-unquote quarterback award. That was a joke. Yes, I do agree with you though, Lee. Most likely at the moment, you might have to put Chase up there as Rookie of the Year from what he's able to do compared to the quarterbacks that have been drafted this past season. But of course, the season isn't over with. We only played through 7 weeks, so it'll be interesting to see who finishes out the season strong, because that's really what it's about. You can have a great first half of the season, but if you don't finish it out, you can't be the Rookie of the Year or the MVP or, of course, Super Bowl champion to end the season. All right. With that being said, we appreciate everybody for joining us for our Halloween special, and of course, tune in next week where we'll be on our regular faces. And we will, of course, be here next Sunday for the pregame show, Monday for Monday Night Football, and Tuesday to wrap it all up. We appreciate y'all for tuning in on X Talking Ish. We will